Hello everyone and welcome to Handmade Not Hallmark. Amanda here. Welcome to card number 3 of my 2021 Christmas card series. Today I'm featuring this adorable stamp set from Honeybee. This is the Snow Buddy stamp set. It is a lot of fun to create with. You get to build your own little snowman characters. This is so fun. Let's get into it. Like I mentioned, I'm going to be using the Snow Buddies stamp set from Honeybee. This is an adorable stamp set. It currently is in the process of being retired through Honeybee, which is sad, but it is still available for purchase at Simon Says and at Honeybee. So if you'd love this set, you might want to get your hands on it before it sells out. First, I want to create a background. I'm going to be using Shaded Lilac, Tumbled Glass, and Chipped Sapphire Distress Oxide inks. This is a new color combination for me. I wanted to have a nice kind of bright, snowy scene, but I didn't want to go super dark like I usually do. So I decided to try these colors out, and this has become one of my new favorites. I love this combination. These colors go together so well. Chipped Sapphire kind of has a little bit of a purple undertone to it, so combining it with the Shaded Lilac was a great combination, and I end up using the same color combination a little bit later in my series. And I'm just blending these oxides on top of some Bristol Smooth cardstock. This is my preferred cardstock, especially using oxides or any other distress inks. They blend so smoothly over top of this cardstock because it kind of has like a smooth coating on it, so it just kind of glides over the top. It does take a little bit longer to dry on this particular cardstock, but that's not a problem. I let it sit off to the side while I work on some other elements of my card. It gives it lots of opportunity to dry. And you can see here that I'm blending in the Chipped Sapphire with the Shaded Lilac. And again, these two colors just blended beautifully together. I love how they look. It's a nice gradient of colors. I just kept blending until I was happy with the result. If you are new to my channel, I want to say welcome. And if you're a returning subscriber, I want to say thanks for coming by again. If you're new, this is my Christmas card series. It runs from October until the week before Christmas. This is my 3rd year doing this series, and I have a lot of fun creating it and sharing all of my ideas with you. Next, I'm going to take some shimmer spray, and I'm just going to spritz the background here. I'm not trying to go for any kind of oxidation. I just wanted to add a little bit of shimmer in the background, and I'm going to heat it right away with my Wagner heat gun. This was a recent purchase a few weeks ago, or maybe a little bit longer than that, and I really am enjoying this heat gun. It works wonderfully, and it heats up really nice. Next, I'm going to take this Layering Snowflakes stencil from Simon Says Stamp, and I just wanted to add a little bit of snowflake inking to the background. I'm going to add some clay snowflakes later on as embellishments, but I wanted to have something kind of soft in the background, and I wanted it to be nice and soft. That's why I'm using this blender brush and some of this unicorn white pigment ink. It's going to kind of dry back, so it'll be very, very subtle in the background. And I just love the way that this looks. It turned out exactly how I imagined, and I didn't want to use, I was okay with them being kind of haphazard if they weren't completely blended all the way through, because I wanted it to be nice and soft. Next, I'm going to get into the coloring. I just stamped on some Neenah cardstock, which is Copic friendly, and I stamped all of my elements down using some Simon Says Intense Black ink. All of the colors that I used for my images will be listed along the side here. I'm going to put on some music, and once we're all finished, we'll come back and finish up these snowmen together.
It's an early December morning. No one but we are much to ask. I'll place forever in your arms, and for this moment to last, because I'm falling just like these snowflakes, tumbling down, round and round. And I'm falling just like these snowflakes, falling for you. I'm falling for you. I'm falling for you. Just like these snowflakes, tumbling down, round and round. I'm falling for you. Just like these snowflakes, falling for you. Yes, it's true. I'm falling for you. Won't you come in out of the snow and cold? We've got it nice and warm. In here you find both young and old, seeking shelter from the storm. It's the spirit of the season to open up the door. It's the spirit of the season to give and love some more. It's the spirit of the season to lend a helping hand. It's the spirit of Christmas season. Let's spread it across the land. Hang your winter coat on the antlers there. Come sit down by the hearth. Let go of your worries, stripes and cares. Give the here and now all its worth. It's the spirit of the season to open up your heart. It's the spirit of the season to heal what's torn apart. It's the spirit of the season to lend a helping hand. It's the spirit of Christmas season. Let's spread it across the land. Oh, let's spread it across the land. It's the spirit of the season to open up your heart. It's the spirit of the season to give and love some more. It's the spirit of the season to lend a helping hand. It's the spirit of Christmas season. Let's spread it across the land. Yeah, oh, let's spread it across the land. Ooh, let's spread it across the land.
Once I had all of the coloring finished, I went in with my white gel pen and my black jelly roll pen to add a little bit of highlight and detail to these images. I use the coordinating dies to cut them all out so that we can get ready to assemble our card. I just love these little snowmen. I love the building element to these dies. You can add whatever accessories that you want, and you can make them your own cute little images. Next, I wanted to work on my sentiment. I'm going to be using the Big Winter Scripty stamp and die set from Lawn Fawn. This is a really nice sentiment stamp set. I love using it, especially these big scripty words. And I chose the Let It Snow stamp, and I'm going to stamp it down using some Simon Says Schoolhouse Red Schoolhouse Red ink onto some white cardstock. And I'm going to be using the coordinating dies to cut this out. Now, I wanted this to be a dimensional greeting, so I die cut using the same die 3 times so that I could stack up my actual sentiment on top to get a nice dimensional greeting instead of trying to use foam tape with these skinny fonts. I'm just using my Barely Arts adhesive here. Again, this is a new purchase for me. I've been using it quite a bit lately, and I really love this adhesive. It holds on really strong and quick. I've really enjoyed using it with all of my dimensional die cuts. Get all those stacked up, and again, this has become one of my favorite ways to add a greeting or some dimension to a card. You could easily just use foam tape if you'd like, or just adhere it nice and flat, but I really like adding the dimension. It adds lots of character to the card. Get that stacked up there. A nice dimension added there. Now we're going to get into some of the assembly of our card here. I'm going to attach my ink blended panel to a top folding A2 sized card base. I just cut out that panel using a stitched STAX die from MFT, just to add some nice stitching detail around the edge of that panel. Next, I wanted to add the second portion to my greeting. I am just taking my images and kind of lining them up here on my panel so I knew where I needed to stamp my second portion of my greeting. I also cut out a really simple kind of like snowy hill so my snowmen had somewhere to set instead of floating up in the sky. I'm going to be using the Peaceful Wishes stamp set from Mama Elephant. I love all of their greetings in here, and I thought it was a nice addition to this front panel. I didn't do any stamping on the inside. I just added another snowman to the inside, so I had lots of room to write a greeting as well. I'm just going to stamp this down using some Simon Says clear ink, and I'm going to heat emboss with some Brutus Monroe Alabaster White embossing powder. This is a really nice embossing powder. It's nice and detailed, it's nice and bright white, and my favorite embossing powder for the holidays because it's nice and bright. We'll get that embossing powder on top of that sticky ink, and we'll get it heated up with my heat gun. And every time I turn my heat gun on, my little boy hears it, and he comes rushing over asking if he can help me heat up the magic powder. He really loves helping me out with certain things, and he loves every time I heat up this embossing powder. He's right, it is magical, and it's awesome to see. Now that I have that all done, I'm going to get ready to assemble the card here. I'm going to stamp or adhere the Let It Snow dimensional die cut here, and we're going to get to assembly of our little snowmen. I got a question for you all. I loved all of your responses to my first question I had about Christmas Eve traditions. Lots of really cool traditions. Some things I might like to steal. I don't like to steal people's ideas, but these ideas were amazing. You guys, I really appreciate all of your comments and participating in my question. So my next question to you is where you live. If you get snow, I know not everybody gets snow, but do you like to build snowmen? We try to build snowmen every opportunity that we get. I live in central Pennsylvania, so snow is kind of hit or miss. Some years we get a lot of snow, some years we don't. Last year we had a decent amount of snow, so we did get an opportunity to go out and build a snowman. So is that something that you like to do with your family? Do you build snowmen? Do you build snow animals, snow creatures, anything like that? Do you love to go outside and play in the snow? Let me know. Going to attach all of the little elements here to our snowmen just using some of that Barely Arts adhesive, and I really like using this because it grips really quickly. It still gives you a little bit of wiggle room to move things around, but once it's there, it does have a nice grip until it dries. And I love these snowmen. The little guy with his arms up reminds me of Olaf from Frozen. My little boy, he absolutely loves Olaf. Every time he sees a snowman, he calls him Olaf. And I'm just kind of figuring out where I want to place my other elements. I love this little red bird, and I wanted to make sure I added him to the front of the card as well, just to add a little bit more of a red pop to the front to go along with the greeting. Add some presents down here, and I'm going to use the other elements on the inside of my card. Get these attached down, and I'm just going to use some liquid glue and some 3M foam tape to add just a little bit of dimension to the presents and the little birds. I know exactly who I'm going to give this card to. Somebody in my life absolutely loves snowmen. They decorate with snowmen every year for the holidays, and it's like a snowman extravaganza. So if you're watching, you know who you are, and you might possibly get this card this year. Add that dimension to the back of this card here, or I'm sorry, to the back of this little bird. And these little birds are really sweet. I like them a lot, especially this little cardinal here. That's one of my favorite things to do is feed the birds in the wintertime. We love putting out bird seed for them and feeding them throughout the winter, and love seeing the different kinds that you get. And there we go. Now we're going to attach our little snowman to the inside of our card. He's going to be our little Santa snowman. And I forgot to attach his little arms here before I glued him down. Luckily, he didn't stay too tight, so I'll be able to fit his little arms in there. There we go. And we'll get his little hat attached. I love this little hat as well. I love how Honeybee has lots of these kind of build-a-character sets where you can kind of build up, your own little scene with all of these different items. I'm going to go in with some finishing items now. I'm going to take these clay embellishment snowflakes from Tailored Expressions, and I'm just going to kind of sprinkle them around my background. I didn't want to have too many to take away from the scene, but it is, snowmen outside playing in the snow, so I wanted to make sure I had enough to add to that scene. I've been having some trouble with my crystal katana. The stickiness has kind of gone away a little bit. I'll probably have to get it clean so I can fix all of that. And the last thing I wanted to do is I wanted to add a little bit of shimmer. I took my Wink of Stella glitter brush pen and added some to the different elements of my card to add a little bit of shimmer and shine. And this will finish up this card for today. I really hope you enjoyed this third card in my Christmas card series. This series has been an absolute joy to start and show you all of the things that I've been working on the past couple of weeks. I've got a lot more coming your way. There's lots of things coming out with new releases for companies, so I'm going to try my best to include those in this series as well. If you like the video, hit that like button as well as to subscribe. It is free to do. It helps support my channel and helps me bring all of this wonderful content to you. I can't wait to share the next video. I'll see you again real soon. Bye! On screen, I've got a few videos that I think you'll enjoy. Consider hitting the subscribe button so you don't miss out on any more videos at my YouTube channel.